All right, all right. There he is. There he is. Super Sodiq Yusuff, featherweight prospect, coming off another impressive, flawless victory. How you feeling, Chief?
Fantastic, man. It wasn't flawless, but it was definitely a well-earned victory.
Well, yeah, I guess the finish was pretty flawless, I should say. But yeah, it was, man. That was a crazy fight against a tough dude, man. Um, how are you feeling physically? You think you might be ready for, I don't know, International Fight Week?
Man, yeah, I think everybody's shooting for that, man. I hope I could get on. That's in the third to the seventh,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
think.
basically, Fourth of July weekend. I think the Saturday they're only doing one fight this year. Normally they do like an Ultimate Fighter finale, but there's no Ultimate Fighter going on right. Yeah, so we'll be looking at UFC 239, headlined by John Jones and Thiago Santos. But there's still time.
Yeah,
They
they're
haven't
they're
filled that
only
card
doing
up,
one fight, man. It's gonna be hard.
huh?
Yeah, I hope I can. I hope I get on there, man. I thought they were gonna do the same thing. They were like when they had the three cards like right back to back.
Well, man,
So hopefully,
congrats. Yeah, yeah. Congrats on another just impressive victory. Like I said, against a tough dude, man. I mean, that was just an awesome fight. Fun fight. The story of the first round especially was kind of your strategy to go on with the calf kicks. I remember we talked about this the first time you and I spoke when you got your contract off Contender Series, and now you're starting to
yeah.
see a lot more people go to that calf kick. And dude, it was like, and the announcers, I don't know if you saw the broadcast back, but they were just like, oh man, like those calf kicks are lighting them up. Did you notice kind of a difference like in his movement, like it was effective? Because it felt like in the second round, I don't know if you just adjusted your strategy or maybe he was just adjusting his, but you kind of didn't use him as much in the second round.
Yeah, he adjusted his. He started pulling back a lot, and he wasn't. It's hard to check, so he wasn't checking as much. He would like cross check it with his other leg, but he
Mm-hmm.
was mostly just off, which is really the only way to deal with it is to step off out of the way. And it shows like how experienced he is with Muay Thai. He did a good job of leg defense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not only that, but I mean, he could just. I mean, both y'all can take a tremendous amount of punishment, and that's the thing about those Muay Thai guys, man. They can sit there and just get hit in the face, blasted over and over again, and just don't even flinch, don't even blink, just walk right through. And there was several times that I saw him get hit with. You would connect with some power that I would put a lot of guys away. Do you get
Yeah.
frustrated when that happens? Do you get frustrated and think, oh man, what do I got to do to finish this guy?
No, not at all, man. I said before, like I have like finishing power, but I don't. It's not something that I'm expecting. Like when I hit people, I'm not like, okay, he's gonna drop on this one, he's gonna drop on this one. Like I try to stay away from that kind of mentality. So when it does happen, it's like, oh, nice, all right, let's get this finished. Because if you're banking on that too much, you're gonna leave yourself wide open. You're gonna start throwing too much on each punch. Like I don't overemphasize any punch that I throw. It's just a natural given power that I have. If you're good enough to stay up there while you can, that hey, hats off to you.
And you make a good point too, because a lot of guys, like even if they hurt a guy, if they rock the opponent or they drop him, they'll come rushing in and they try to finish with strikes, and then maybe they don't put him away, but they ended up spending so much energy trying to that they're just smoked by the time it's
Exactly. And he
so.
was a lot more defensively sound than in his previous fights. I think he respected my power a little bit, so he tried not to open up as much. And honestly, I felt the same way with him too. When I saw like the danger of the moves that he would do, we would clinch up a lot. And it was going like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all the way until the third round. If you see like the punch I actually landed on him, I opened up the fight with that same punch just because I study film a lot. I try to look for people's tendencies, and he was able to stay clean the whole time, all the way until the end of the third round.
Talk us through that, man, because I didn't actually see it in real time. It wasn't until I saw the replay in kind of slow motion before I even saw that punch.
Yeah,
What
so
exactly landed there?
yeah, if you, it's kind of like a sweep hook. So it's a hook from your backhand. So it's not a straight or overhand. You're just kind of bringing it around the side. And the reason why I was banking on that punch so much is because he has a tendency of opening up his left hand whenever he throws his right, you know? And I figured I'm either as fast as him, and if I'm not as fast as him, I could meet him with that punch. So a lot of times when I was throwing it, he would stay clean. He would throw his straight right. Even when he loops it, he's kept keeping his left hand up nice and strong. And he stayed clean all the way on to the third round. And that's, man, that's like, man, you know, like small windows of opportunity. And when, like I said, I got my shot. I threw the best shot I could. It landed. It was a clean drop. And like I said, I have natural power. So I knew like if I land, you know, it's gonna do some damage definitely.
You had a solid game plan, and you looked extremely, laser focused in there. I know just from speaking with you and knowing about your background and your goals and stuff like that. You're so determined, man. You got so much more riding on this than just yourself and your ego and your career and your own personal goals. So how
Yeah,
how is everybody, man? How's the family? How's your mom? How's everything going?
they're doing good, man. You actually caught me at a good time. Let me see if I am I able to flip this camera. So I a lot of them don't know yet, but I got a lot of stuff. I'm probably gonna be sending back during this week. Like, I mean, you already know my story, man. I fight to try to help my family and stuff, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I got a lot of stuff like packed that I'm gonna be sending back home during this week, like all that stuff over there.
yeah.
I'm just sending stuff back home, and that's all I'm gonna do. Each fight, man, I try to give something back, and I was able to get the bonus this time. Last time I got the bonus, and I was able to make a lot of people happy, but it's still good enough, you know. That's why I'm happy I'm in the UFC. I finally able to make decent money, you know. I could actually make some changes, and the more I win, man, the better it is.
Yeah, well, you're turning heads for sure, and you're smashing heads too, and that's a big part of it, man. So, look, the last fight that you had, it followed Kamaru Usman's fight against Rafael dos Anjos, and you told me that he had given you some words of encouragement. Well, I caught up with him here in Las Vegas before he fought Tyron Woodley, and I asked him about it. I think I text you and so you could check out the
Yeah.
interview, but I did, man. I said, well, what was said, and. He was really cool, man. He's a really cool dude. Have you spoken to him since he won the title and had a chance to
Man,
congratulate him?
yeah, just the congratulations and social media and stuff like that, man. Like I said, like, did you see? I posted a video up when he won that fight. Like, man, I couldn't believe how I thought he was gonna win. I couldn't believe how he won. You know, like I don't think anybody saw like that. I have a lot of respect for Woodley, you know, and no, I didn't see him being able to do that to Tyron Woodley. Even on a win, I was like, he wasn't gonna go out there and just dominate him. You know, it was a complete blowout.
Oh yeah, beat him at his own game in a lot of ways too, and even in the striking. I mean, there was a few times where he just was. He just looked excellent in every way, and it was a big. You could just feel the energy, man, because like next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, of course, we got Israel Adesanya fighting
Yeah,
Kelvin Gastelum for an interim title, which is huge as well, and I asked him at the press conference to just kind of put into words how incredible this is to see such greatness among the up and coming Africans in the UFC, and he was like, obviously, he was ecstatic, man, and all you guys are, man.
yeah, definitely. Like that pride is something else, man. It's like I said before, like that's the most emotional I've ever been from watching somebody else fight, you know, like somebody that I wasn't related to. And it's crazy, even my mom is always like she barely even knows the sport. But she's like, I was praying for him. I've been praying for him. And I'm praying for all of you guys. You guys are all gonna be successful, you know? And like it's not even like she's just saying that, like she's literally like going to church praying for these guys. So when like, you know, just to raise up our culture, you know, like to show the other kids back home like there's something positive that could come out of this stuff. I came home one day and found her watching random Kamaru Usman fights. I was like, well, when you start watching MMA, man? She's like, I'm praying for all of you, man. You like want a rising like I was a rising tide raises all ships, you know. It's like it's gonna help all of us, man. It's gonna help the whole country. It's like it seems like something small, like mixed martial arts helping a whole country, but hope is hope, you know. Seeing somebody that looks like you, someone that comes from where you're from, if you've seen them achieve something, is gonna spark a little bit of inspiration inside of you too.
That's so freaking cool. That's so cool. I don't know if you saw the press conference, but when I asked Stylebender about that, he said he had an interesting answer. He said, this is beautiful. First of all, because this was a couple days before Usman fought, and he was like, just the thought of a Nigerian, of an African champion. He said, man, he goes, people ask me. He said they ask me if I actually want him to lose so that I can become the first Nigerian champion, and he's
No
like.
way.
Yeah, he
No
said.
way.
Yeah, he said people ask him that, and he's like, you have no idea, like what our culture, like what our mentality is like. He's like, for me, him winning is just as big as me winning, and
Exactly.
I thought that was beautiful.
Exactly. I wouldn't expect him to say anything else, man. It's like I guess it's just hard to understand if you're not from our culture. It's hard to explain, but I wouldn't expect him to say anything else. Like him, like seeing his mom hold that Nigerian flag and the belt in the ring, man. Oh man, that was some cool shit, you know. So I wouldn't expect him to say anything else.
I could just imagine too. I could just imagine millions of people from all over the world, that have African or Nigerian roots, just being completely ecstatic because we saw history being made right there.
Definitely,
You know,
definitely.
there's never been an African-born champion in the UFC, and he's the first one to do it, man. And against arguably one of the best welterweights of all time. Um,
Yeah, that's what made it even better. You know, it's like it wasn't like he just beat up some scrub. You know, I have a lot of respect for Willie. I'm sure he does too. You know, like man, Willie's a hard puzzle to solve. He doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, and Kamaru just went in there and made it look easy.
so the Contender Series has been a huge hit. It's helped jumpstart a lot of guys' careers in the UFC. Yourself included. You've made the most of the opportunity among I would say among all the guys really that have gotten into the UFC because you came right in and you've been earning these impressive victories. Now they're talking about putting kind of a more international spin on it this time around. Even though the last season they did two separate ones, they did one here in the States, and the same one in Las Vegas, and then a Brazilian one. Well, which was also filmed here, but it featured Brazilians. Now they're talking about bringing in like Canadians and just scouring. But I didn't see, and among all the nations, I didn't see any African nations mentioned in there. And I'm thinking, like, is that a missed opportunity? Because I feel like that is something they should emphasize. Because even in your season, you had Kennedy, Nzechukwu as well, and probably some
Yep.
others that I missed. But you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
now is a good time to start putting some shine on that, because it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is, but you know, it's gonna take a little bit of time. You know, there's a lot of our people. We have the physicality and we had the mindset, but a lot of them just don't have the knowledge. They don't have the proper kind of training yet. Those of us that you're seeing here are the ones that was able to break through. The ones that, luckily enough, down the road we found somebody that was willing to put some knowledge into us. You know, so it's gonna take a little bit of time, but as it's gonna be a wave, you know. Like right now, you're saying one, two, three. All right, now there's four guys. Now there's five guys. Next, 2 years from now, the whole roster might start looking a little bit colorful, you know. So it's just gonna take a little bit of time.
Yeah, no, you're right. And to that point, there's probably not, I mean, the gyms, and teams over there's probably very few and far between. I think probably the
Yeah,
next major step will be for the UFC to break ground over there and actually put on a fight. And I think it could actually be huge. I think they could, find one of these like big, maybe even like a big soccer stadium show or just a really big venue of some kind, and I think
yeah.
it would be a good turnout, especially if they load the card up with a lot of you guys. People will be very excited for that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors about something happening in South Africa, but so far it looks like it's just rumors, you know. So, but if it does happen, man, that's gonna be insane. You know, I'll probably try to mix a trip with my family in there because a couple of my family members they should be able to get a visa to go to South Africa. You know, that would be insane. That would be a dream come true if that actually happens.
Oh man. Oh, me too. No, I'll have to make a trip there, man, because I played rugby in college. I'm a huge rugby fan. You know, South Africa is known for their rugby among other things, but yeah, that would be dope. I'll be keeping my eye out for that for sure. Um, let's turn our attention for a second to your division. We talked about the UFC 236 co-main event with Israel and Gastelum for an interim title, of course. Another interim title fight is taking place, and it's a great fight. Don't get me wrong. And you know, Max Holloway has defended his featherweight title multiple times. It's well deserved. But I want to know what your thoughts are as a guy who's clearly fast tracking to the upper echelon and potentially the title. I know that's a personal goal of yours, and it's very, very doable, especially with your momentum and your youth. You know, you still have a lot to accomplish in the sport. You know what I mean? How do you feel about that though? Because what he's doing effectively is holding up the division. Because now what's going to happen? I don't. Let's say Max Holloway wins the interim lightweight title. Well, we already know that the division's going to be held up longer because he's going to end up fighting for the lightweight title to unify it. I wouldn't expect him to win the interim lightweight and then go back down, defend his belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I'm about to give you a little plot twist, but I'm 100% down for what Max is doing, man. I think
Hmm.
hard work should be rewarded, no matter what it is. With the things Max has accomplished in that weight class is crazy. And like you said, he's basically beaten the whole roster. The guys that he's gonna be matched up with now are new guys that are coming up, you know. So 13 fights in the UFC, come on, man. Like especially 13 fights as a champion, you deserve to get these little interim title shots and stuff like that. I'm still on the rise, you know. Like my belt chase might not happen until like 2 years from now, or maybe a year and a half from now, you know. So I'm not in a rush, and I can appreciate the hard work that he's put in. You know, Max is a beast. He kind of deserved that interim title shot, and we'll see if he fights Dustin Poirier again, and especially if he beats Poirier, like the proof is in the pudding. You know, like if
Yeah.
he could get that belt, he could beat Poirier and get that belt from him. He deserves it. It's not like he's talking himself into this stuff, you know. A lot of people hate it, like the fans hate when people are given stuff that they don't deserve. I don't see how else you could earn two belts more than beating your whole weight class and having a 13 fight win streak as a champion.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, he's one of the few guys that's actually like, I mean, there's been guys like GSP and Silva, and we've seen, even John Jones, like guys clear out their division, but then, like clockwork, more contenders just pop up. And right
Yeah,
now, like you said, there's guys that are kind of in your boat that are, maybe a
yeah,
few fights away from the title. But other than that, as far as contenders, he pretty much
exactly.
he dusted them all. And the most impressive has to be Brian Ortega for me, because I was like, damn, like, yeah, I thought he
Yeah,
would win, but I didn't think he would
we
just piece
talked
him up
before
that
that
bad.
fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man, I knew it was gonna be a bad one for Ortega. Just the way that they matched up, you know, like a lot of Max's strengths play into Brian Ortega's weaknesses.
Yeah, actually, I think you predicted, Max, and I thought otherwise. I honestly, and who am I to at this point? Who am I to doubt Max Holloway in anything that he does? So yeah, man, if he could beat Poirier the way that Poirier has looked at lightweight, that's incredible. That is something
Yeah,
special. Oh
yeah,
man. So the former reigning king of the featherweight division at one point was Conor McGregor, and then he's a lightweight, and then he's a boxer, and now who knows? But he's teased retirement, but then yesterday he came back and is teasing a return. So do you think it's going to happen? If so, who do you think they'll put him in there with?
if he does come back, it's gonna be Khabib or Nate, but I don't think the UFC cares at this point, man. You know, after the UFC made that deal with ESPN, and I think his retirement thing was to kind of see how much value he still had. He was trying to get see the reaction of what the UFC was gonna do. But after that deal that they made with ESPN, I don't think they really need any more celebrities or superstars. You know, like
Mm.
they're kind of set now. They're basically like an NFL thing. They don't really need any individual guy to raise the sport up.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because the valuation has almost doubled, if not doubled, because it was a huge, huge deal that the company when it was revealed during the sale that it was worth $4 billion, and last I heard, and this was like 4 or 5 months ago, it was valued at $7 billion, and that was
Yeah,
before the ESPN deal was final. So who knows, man?
exactly.
Yeah, you make a good point. It's big business.
I don't think the UFC is looking to beg anybody to come back. So if he comes back, it's completely up to him.
Yeah. Well, man, listen, I'm honored. Thank you so much for your time, brother. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Social media, etc.
Yeah, yeah. So especially now that I've been getting a lot of buzz, now people are starting to know my name. The Instagram's been blowing up, but not as much as like Twitter. So if you guys go follow me on Twitter and YouTube, everything is always Super Sadiq. And I started putting out some shirts, man, and just trying to get more on the business side. You know me, most of the time I just focus on training and doing the stuff for my family, but I'm trying to build up everything else. So just follow me on other social media platforms and not just Instagram.
Yes, I will, and I encourage everyone else to do the same. Super Sadiq, I cannot wait to see you get in there again. And man, I hope you get something lined up for International Fight Week because I'll be on the front lines and in the trenches because that's my neck of the woods, baby. Vegas,
Yes,
all
sir.
day,
Yes, sir.
every
Thank you
day.
for having me, man.
All right, man. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, sir.